All right, Wolfpack, we are back again for Tuesday. We're going to do some split jerk technique work. Okay, notice the percentages. They start relatively low and they do not exceed 85%. This means this is a technique-based session, so this should be zero fails, nothing but perfect technique, working on the things that make our split jerks fall apart as the weights get heavier, or whatever seems to be our breaking points of our split jerk individually. We need to try to address that and really work on these things in this EMOM, especially these higher rep counts, right? They're a really good opportunity to replicate movements, right? You just did one, you have an opportunity to do another one, and then on the 3, you have a third one. It's a really good chance to just take a second to think about that prior rep, feel how it went. You should be able to kind of start to address the things. You know, maybe you didn't extend your hips as much, maybe your footwork was slow, maybe your back knee was not down, it was straight. So a very good opportunity to get a lot of volume in at some movable weights, and still be able to mentally and cognitively think about this entire movement and it not be so much that it overpowers the physical portion of the movement. Okay, so make sure we keep the weights in those percentage ranges because this is supposed to be technique based. So typical EMOM, so you got 3 minutes. First 3 are 3 split jerks, a lot of threes, wow. Somewhere around that 65% marker that we hit I think it was last Wednesday that we did a split jerk max, or we built to a heavy single. So if you were here, you have these percentages. If not, this should be around a 6 out of 10 effort, right? Something that you can cycle for 3 in a row, right? Something that you can, again, think about, okay, we do a split jerk. As you're bringing it down, you re-rack. Okay, how did that go? You know, did it feel right? Did something feel off? Okay, make the change for the next one. So something that you can still keep your mind in it and still physically be able to complete it. So really focus on the things here that we need to do as the weights get heavier. So we still should be going full hip extension. And the big thing with these lighter reps is really focusing on your speed underneath the barbell. Since you will have a little bit more extension, right? The bar is going to lift a little bit more. You can really focus on your speed underneath the bar because you don't have that heavy bar weighing you down. So big focus is on that. So around 65%. And then the next 3 are going to be 2 reps. 75% if you don't have a max to go off of or a percentage to go off of, you're looking at probably anywhere between a 10 to 20 pound jump here, depending on how high your ceiling is, right? For guys, their ceiling's a little bit higher. This 10% jump could be somewhere around 20 pounds. For females, when the max, right, the number is a little bit lower, you're looking more like 10 pounds or something. So if you're looking to just go up in weight, you know, somewhere between 10 to 20 pounds is probably realistic, okay? And then your last 4 sets is just 1. So everything we've done here, we should be primed, we should be warmed up, we should feel very good about our split jerks, our speed and our footwork should be there. And now, since we have the heavier lifts, all we got to do is let the technique take over. For most people, you really just have to over-exaggerate getting the barbell off your chest, right? The hardest thing is when that heavy bar weighs you down, right? If we don't get enough hip extension or if we lose our position on the elbows and the bar goes forward, it throws the whole lift off. So if anything, focus on just purely getting as much lift off the chest as you can, and then then letting your athleticism, your footwork go underneath the bar and catching it from there. And you guys are going to be very successful. So again, technique work, no fails, and you should be feeling very comfortable with your split jerk throughout this entire thing. Shouldn't be going outside of our means that way. Excuse me. Okay. Then we got a little bit of a sprint metcon. Clearly, these are high rep counts. It's probably going to be more muscular for most people, especially with the handstand push-ups, because we're going to get slowed down. We're going to have breaks on and off the wall. Heart rate's going to come down a little bit. So it's a really good opportunity to work on your kipping mechanics in these high volume sets under a little bit of fatigue, right? And then just getting some extra pressing volume at the end. So for time, we're going to do calories on the rower. 50 for the guys, 40 for the ladies. Obviously, this is a hinge motion, right? You're hinging in, you're hinging back. So you are going to have a little bit of that hinge mechanic fatigue for our handstand push-up. So we really have to focus on when we get to the wall, right? We're getting into a good tripod. And when we get the butt against the wall on the bottom, bring your knees as far into the chest as you can and utilize as much of that kip as possible, right? So we are going to have a little bit of fatigue going into it. But again, big high rep count here. Pick a comfortable set you know you can hit and replicate. 3 to 5 is probably pretty realistic for most people. And then do that off the wall. Get back on, off the wall. Okay, again, don't try to go too big too soon. Shoulders are going to pump up. Sets are going to fall apart. It's going to take longer if we start failing. And then these dubs are going to be really hard if our shoulders are pumped up. Okay, so 50 or 40, 40, 150 on the jump rope. Time domain here should be somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes. Maximum, okay, if somebody was really, really good on the jump rope and they did 2 sets, right, 80, 70, it's going to take somewhere around 90 seconds. But I assume with the breaks and the shoulder fatigue, might take a little bit longer than that. So I'm thinking you can probably get through this in 4 to 5 sets realistically, or right, probably no more than 2.5 to 3 minutes maximum if you're looking for a time domain. So you can give yourself a time domain, work as many double unders as you can, and then move on. And then the final one is just 40 dumbbell push-ups. So this is just to kind of ensure that we're making sure we're getting full range of motion and that we're locking all the way out. It does change the push-up angle a little bit. So you should have a little bit more range of motion to the chest, and you really have to make sure that you lock out. So a full dumbbell push-up to standard is actually a deficit push-up because your dumbbells are off the ground. So you actually have to reach your chest a little bit lower to get yourself to the ground. So don't be surprised if these are a little bit more challenging. But to RX this, or to do the full dumbbell push-up standard, right, the dumbbells need to be slightly outside your shoulders so that as you come down, your chest actually hits the ground. And you get that little deficit. So I anticipate these being a little bit more challenging than people think. But if anything, we're looking at a calorie row distance that's 3 minutes or less. Handstand push-ups, hopefully we can get through somewhere between 8 and 10, per minute minimum. So even you call it 5 minutes, right? 3 minutes, 5 minutes. This should be 3 minutes, maximum 8 minutes. And then again, we're hoping to get through 8 to 10 here. Even if it's 4 minutes, it's 12 minutes. So somewhere between probably a 10 to 15 minute workout for most is going to be realistic. But other than that, fantastic Tuesday to get better. See you in the gym. Have a great day. Bye.